Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, testing. Were you in my first workshop?
No, I wasn't.
Awesome. I'm gonna give you a link now so you can start downloading some stuff so you don't fall behind.
Is it the link on the Explore Hub with the Google Drive?
You have, yes.
Yes, I think I downloaded that link.
Okay. Did you uncompress the file?
Yes, I opened the zip.
I'll probably go over. Okay, awesome. Do you have Unity installed as well?
No, I haven't.
The link was on the Explorer. No worries. Just try to download it, and let me know when you have. No, those are. Keep going now. So Unity, go up. As in I scroll up. Unity Hub. There you go.
I really wanted to come to the first one, but I just
No, you're good. I mean, the good thing about the first one is we mostly talk about concepts, and then we start setting up everything. So everyone that went to the first one should be all set up. Yeah, I'll start, a little slow so we could all catch up. I mean, downloading the project, extracting, and having everything set up takes a little bit of time, but I'll try to go slow. Just the only thing is that we might not finish today, but totally fine. Hey, what's up? All right. Yes. Huh? Talk like a normal level voice, like this. Good? That's good. Acceptable.
spiel, just bear with me, and if you haven't, please pay attention. So we're doing Explore a little bit differently this year. All the workshops are still open to everyone, like I've mentioned, but we're doing a cohort style where you essentially sign up for 2 cohort tracks at a time. We did our first cohort before spring break. This is our second iteration with new projects. We have 4 weeks for each of our 4 tracks, game dev, web dev, AI, and hardware. In those 4 weeks, you basically learn all the basic concepts and build up a project in that time that you can add to your GitHub, your resumes, and will make you stand out to recruiters. So, like Ricardo's been telling you guys, the first thing that I want to highlight is our Explore Hub. It's go.fiu.edu/Explore Hub. Here we have all of our live streams and our Notion docs for all the different tracks. So if you guys fall behind, if you guys need some extra reinforcement on one of the workshops, you can always go ahead and check that out. And make sure if you haven't already, which he mentioned, to go in right now and start downloading those development tools because it can take a little bit to download Unity Hub. So just keep that in mind. For the cohort tracks, for the ones that you sign up for, if you attend all 3 of the cohort workshops, so not including the first one, this would be the official first cohort workshop for game dev, then you guys are going to get some certificates of completion, and you're going to get your little Explore pins for game dev specifically, and you'll end up with a fully fledged project. Can you scroll down for me really quick? And can you untoggle the cohort intake? Yeah. So this is a quick calendar. Heads up on that Explore Hub, we also have a calendar of all of the events. Game Dev actually already closed yesterday, but again, doesn't really matter. If you come to the events, you don't have to necessarily be part of the cohort. Web Dev already closed. AI, we had our first one yesterday, so that's going to close next week, Tuesday. And then hardware starts next Monday, so that'll close the following Sunday. So just always keep in mind that right before that first cohort workshop, the deadline for the cohort application actually closes. So if you can go down for me really quick. I assume most of you guys have already filled this out, but if not, this is the cohort interest form. Again, you can sign up for 2 tracks at any given time. For this particular one, again, we had one before spring break. This is also at go.fiu.edu/initexplore. And we have this on our socials as well, on our Instagram, and on our Discord we have an Explore Hub channel where you guys can reach out to me or to the ETLs if you have any questions about this specifically. So, this is important, okay. So if you guys are part of the game dev cohort, please go ahead and fill out this entry survey really quick. So the whole reason why we're doing a cohort style this year is because we really want to get feedback from you guys, see what's working, what's not working, what we need to change in order for this to be a valuable experience for the students. So you guys are going to fill out this entry survey for me now, and then at the end of the 3rd workshop, you're going to fill out an exit survey. We're going to see how you kind of progressed, how you maybe gained confidence in your skills, in your resume, now you have a personal project under your belt, and all of that helps us to improve the program for you guys. So I'll give you guys a minute or 2 for that before I move on to upcoming events. And one thing to keep in mind, if you guys already filled this out for web dev, for example, you don't have to fill it out again. If you have any particular feedback that you want to give besides what you already did for the other track, you can go ahead and do that in the exit survey, but there's really no need to fill it out twice if you already did. Great weather we're having.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the entry survey, make sure to put that you don't know anything.
Yeah.
For the exit survey, make sure that game dev was
He's very modest. He did get really, really good feedback from the first one, but feel free to be brutally honest because again, we do this for you guys. This is supposed to serve you guys and help you guys get, further along in your career and get more acquainted with the different tracks that you'd like to explore within computer science. So, yeah. I think you're the only one that I see with the phone out, so just scan it and then I'll move on. Okay, but no rush. You can go ahead. But you're fine. Just I can update you on the form if you come to me later. Don't worry. Again, it's more loose. It's not very strict. It's just for us to kind of keep track of who's going to what, make sure that we're getting that retention and that we're actually able to improve the program based on your feedback. So last thing I'm going to mention just briefly is we have our Flag Ops Bootcamp event tomorrow. So we have a new event that we're doing, which is Capture the Flag. So it's kind of like a cybersecurity thing where you inspect different web pages and things, and you find like the flag by using like decryption and inspect element tools and stuff like that. I don't know too much about it, but if you guys are interested in participating in that Flag Ops Capture the Flag event, which is going to be later on in April, I highly recommend attending the boot camp, which is going to be tomorrow at 3:30 in PG6 116. We're kind of going to go through some practice challenges and just a general flow of how a CTF works, and we'll give you guys some time to network and start building up your teams for that actual Capture the Flag event. So yeah, with that said, I'm going to hand it off to Ricardo.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
But again, if you need absolutely anything, you can call me in a panic.
Awesome. Thank you.
Say the room is burning.
All right. I see. I think half of the room was not here in the first workshop. I got to some of you who was not here in the first workshop and does not have the project and everything set up. Raise your hand. You? Who else? I know you three. I have you set up. You good? Were you able to download the stuff, the project?
I can be on the Cohort to work, but
Okay.
it doesn't bear with.
So, are you here so go to this link that go.fiu.edu/explore hub. Yes, that link. And then scroll down for me, scroll down. Do you see game dev? Here, game dev. Open it here. And then go to cohort 1. I know I haven't put it on the second one, but it's totally fine. Notion docs. And then click on that link. All right, so most important, I need you to download, go a little lower. Scroll down. Scroll a little bit more. So download Unity Hub here and the project link. Once those two are downloaded, just let me know so I can help you out, okay? All right, since I know some of you were not in the first workshop, I'm gonna just talk a little bit, go a little slow. I might even mention some of the concepts that we went over in the first workshop, just to let everyone catch up. I know the thing that I hate the most is, being super behind and not, keeping up with the workshop. So I totally understand everyone, so I'll be super slow, right? Okay, who has the project open and ready to go? Raise your hand. 1, 2, okay, not too bad. All right. So the rest of you are what? Downloading? Who's downloading the editor for Unity? I know some of you are. 1, 2. It's almost done.
It's almost done.
Who's downloading the project? Project. And the rest of you? Yours is good? Okay. Right. Remember, I want this workshop to be a two-way street. I want us to work as a team. I don't want to stand up here and just talk forever. And I want you guys to get something from this workshop, right? My workshops are very, very different from every other workshop you're going to go. I want this to be two-way street, right? So let me ask, who wants to open their own business? Okay, that would be more. Who wants to work for a company instead? You guys want to feel safe? I'll be good. I understand. Who is legitimate interested in becoming something related to game dev? You don't have to raise your hand to make me feel better. I'm probably not going to do game dev for, okay. Like actually 110% game dev. Yeah, I see you.
I've applied to become a QA tester, I've applied for
Okay. Um, right. Why? Okay. All right. In front.
I just like how game dev is more, when you can see a really cool result.
Right.
When you code, like I've worked in backend and it's just like, oh, like, you know, you test it, you see the stuff in the database.
Right.
But game dev is just like, it's more real.
Right.
You put all this effort and like that.
And you get to see it. I get you. But remember, game dev is, unfortunately, most of the time, especially when you're starting out, it's a full stack job. You do everything from back end to front end to music to UI to everything. I saw a couple more hands raised.
Why? Because I've always loved video games.
Same.
I've loved them since I could play them. And I love conceivably everything about it.
Exactly.
I love the graphics, I love the designing, I love the music, I love every conceivable emotions. And I want to get in every conceivable nook and cranny of it.
Right.
Make the music, I want to make the characters jump and fight and love and sing.
Right.
I know that's
So.
a terrible job, and I would sincerely recommend don't do it.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to get to. You know, it's definitely something to not recommend. If you want some financial stability, it's probably not the right path. But if you want to follow your own dreams, it's probably the right path, right? I'm going to ask a more personal question. Who here has cried playing video games? Come on, be completely honest. Has cried playing video games? All right, I'm going to ask again, and then I'm going to ask one by one which game and what scene. So if you want to lower your hand, it's totally fine. All right. Ming. It Takes Two? Don't spoil it. I'm almost finished. I'm almost done with that game. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. I'm about to finish it.
I had several. Undertale, Amore, Salad Days, and I had too many. And those are the three.
Tell me one moment that stands out. Say the game first, and then Undertale. Okay.
At the end of the game where everyone escapes the underground,
Right.
it's like you fall into a hole and you have to help the monsters in the underground escape into the
Right.
world because they're banished for eons. And when they float out of the sunset.
Yeah. It's crazy, right? You. Okay. You want to tell what happens in the game?
Basically, at the end, you should have escape.
Right. Who else had their hand up? Nobody wanted to share anymore, right?
I'll say The Walking Dead.
Oh, The Walking Dead. That's probably the one that I've cried the most. Who has not played The Walking Dead?
I haven't played it, but I saw.
Okay, so we're not gonna spoil it. You saw what happened.
So what? Yeah. So what?
Yeah, we're not gonna spoil it, right? The Walking Dead. Yeah, the actual. Yeah. Right. We won't spoil it. But Walking Dead. There's also, related to Walking Dead. Zombie game. Damn, what's The Last of Us? The first one. I haven't played the second one, but the first one is rough. Again, reason that I wanted to ask is it's crazy how something so simple could reach out millions and millions and get even to your emotions, right? So that's why I enjoy video games, because you could make something that is so special to so many people that it's crazy. I don't think you could do that with anything else. Sure, you can make an awesome app, you can make Facebook 3 or whatever, but it's not the same, right? When you play a video game, certain video games just stay with you, stay with someone. You can reach millions and millions, right? So, definitely it's a good approach to taking life. Definitely it'll give you some financial, but you're not guaranteed stability. I couldn't find the old videos of this person, but I want to tell you a personal experience that I saw it grow from 0 to something. And when I first started doing video games, I know you see that this YouTube is 2 years old. But this is older than that, a lot older than that. When I first started doing video games, getting into video games, I randomly came across this video that had like 3 views, and it was the developer of this game, right? It was some young kid and just started, doing videos in his house, basement, whatever, and he built this. And again, this is not a crazy story. Normally, I start my, workshops with like Lethal Company that made $300 million or whatever, right? But I did some research, and games on Steam, by the way, you can buy, you can see good reviews, everything. He made about $3 million, right? Just doing something from his own house. And it's just me showing you that it is possible, right? Because we see all these big video games, or this AAA, whatever, and we think, oh, we can't really do that. You could definitely accomplish. Now, when I saw the videos, he had none of this built. He basically had a little island, and you could do a little bit of building, and that was pretty much it. He had a little town. None of the town was scripted. It was basically some placeholders for a map. Now you can see he has a bunch of stuff in his game, right? So little games like this are awesome to see because it shows you the possibility. Like maybe you start working on something that you have passion for now, and it's March, and you release in December, and you did it, right? So it is possible, okay? Who is still downloading the project?
I'm still
Trying
trying to sign in.
to sign in? Oh my God.
Some people says, I'm supporting the target.
Switch target, yeah. That's probably because you didn't download for the Android. It's fine. Who else had their hand up?
Let's just do extracting.
Extracting? Downloading? Okay. Extracting? Okay. I don't want to leave anybody behind. I'd rather we don't finish and we start all of us together, to be honest. Let's start talking about some of the script that we're going to go over, right? By the way, I can't find 100% how much Flappy Bird made. Who remembers Flappy Bird when it first came out? Who still has a phone that has Flappy Bird installed in anywhere in the drawers, anywhere?
God, no, I would have sold that in instant.
I have one. I have my old iPhone from like freaking 10 years, whatever long, and it still has Flappy Bird installed. That's pretty cool. I think at some point those were going on eBay for like 10K.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I was in high school and because like the developer was just
Yeah.
overwhelmed because of how many people were playing the game.
Right.
Like kind of took it off the store. Because of that, people who had the game on their phone just like started selling it for like hundreds of
Yeah.
bucks instantly. It's like,
Yeah, it's crazy. So honestly, I rebuilt. Yes.
How long was the game out for? Before you removed it?
The game was out probably for a few months. No more than that. Yeah. But the game blew up immediately. How? I don't understand how. Right. And then he removed it. Yeah. So this guy made about, let's just round it up because this is a very low number that I know this is not what they made. They made a lot more in ads and everything else. Let's just say they made 20 million, right? Just to round it up. When I was thinking of making the workshop, I was considering different ideas, and I'm like, I think Flappy Bird could be a cool workshop because it's simple-ish. And I replicated the game in probably 4 hours. So in 4 hours, without looking at anything, just my own scripts, this guy just made 20 millions, right? So it's one of those things that the right idea, it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be an insane project. Like a lot of times people reach out to me, and again, I'm not trying to limit your ideas, right? Keep in mind, I'm just stalling so we could all have the project installed, right? I'm not trying to limit your ideas. I'm trying to just let you know that being on the right path it's the most important part, right? Not limiting your ideas. I have a lot of people that come up to me and are like, well, I'm working on this insanely cool RPG that does a million things. I'm like, yes, that is awesome, but you are probably not going to be able to finish the RPG by yourself, right? Because an RPG just has so many components to it that it's just hard as your first game. Maybe you're 10 games deep, then sure, maybe you're able to accomplish it. But in your first game, that's not a good idea. And believe it or not, that's something similar that happened when this game released to me. I saw that he was uploading dev blogs for his game, and at the same time I was building a very big project, so I thought. And his project, look how awesome it did. My project, I just got overwhelmed and I couldn't finish anything, right? So it's just one of those things that you have to be on the right track to sort of be able to finish your project, right? Make actual goals that you know you're gonna be able to accomplish, right? Or you're gonna get close to. Does that make sense? Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I have a friend too. He started a really simple, like a pixel art game.
Right.
And he never even finished it, but he ended up coding one of the AIs. It was A-star tracking or something like that. So
Okay.
pathfinding with the AI. And he never finished it, but he ended up doing a Google interview and bringing that up. And that was like the one thing that they zeroed in on. Tell me about this project. What did you do here?
Yeah.
And he ended up getting that and he just ended up.
Yeah, that's the thing. Projects like this, remember, people in the industry want to see you, doesn't matter what type of project it is. People in the industry want to see you get, projects under your belt so they could judge your project. Like, sure, I could sit somebody down and put in an interview and put some technical questions and you might do decent. But if I see projects that you have built before, I know more or less your portfolio, how does it look, what type of stuff that you've done, how complicated your stuff is, right? I showed you guys when we first workshop last week, but for those who were not here, basically this is what we're building. I think it's pretty spot on, honestly. Right? So if we look up a that's pretty spot on, right? Okay.
What's up, IGN? Brian Albert here with...
All right, let's not listen to it. Okay, maybe I didn't get the last animation correctly, but, close enough, right? All right. Who has the project installed already and opened? 2, 3, okay, more hands, it's good. For those of you who don't have it installed, let me know so I can help you so we can start. Yes.
I have the editor set up, so fully downloaded. I have the project here. How do I open it?
Just click on it, and it should open. Who else needs help? Yes. No, actually, skip. Skip that. Yeah, close that real quick if you don't mind. Cancel download. Go to projects. Did you download the project already? Did you uncompress it? Go to where it is and just unzip it. No, you open the zip, so go go to your downloads here real quick. Okay, so right click on it here. And then extract, there you go. Yeah, just let me know when that finishes. Anyone else? We all got the project installed?
I have a project on Unity. Do I just close that one and then open?
Yeah. Just close it and then open the other one. All right, so I'm gonna start going into the code. Just stop me wherever you need me to stop. Ask me any questions. I don't want anybody to fall behind.
Like, look, I get here to the Udemy app.
Right?
So you click this, and and it opens up a browser.
right?
So then I get here, and now automatically, so give it a minute, right? And then it just brings this up.
So sign in.
This is what I'm getting
The
into.
hell? All right. So close. Open a new tab here, and close this. Close that too, and just type in Unity login.
Yeah, log in directly into Unity.
Yeah, Unity login.
I did try that, but let's try
Okay, and click on that.
So I'm logged in.
Oh, you are logged in. Right. So with that, just go to the
Hub.
hub again. Just click sign in. All right, let's wait for a second. Okay, close the Unity hub and reopen it again and see if it is that. That's PC. Yeah, just close it. Make sure it's closed on. Yes. Make sure to close everything that says Unity, and then we'll go from there. Yeah.
I'm downloading it because it was just looping at like 98%. But
Right.
out of curiosity, did you make these already?
Yeah, those were the previous workshops.
Would you provide those afterwards, even if we don't do them in the workshop?
Yeah, just let me know.
Okay.
Yeah, because I definitely have them somewhere. Don't know, not sure where.
Let's put a YouTube link. You mentioned it.
Yeah, I have on the YouTube. We have every other workshop.
Oh,
I am lying.
Cohort one?
The last workshop,
Yeah.
yes, not every other one. The last one, but the link is not there anymore. So just reach out after we're done, and I'll give you. Yeah. Yes.
Unsupported build target.
Just switch target. It should be fine. Yeah, that's the missing version, so just install that, and then you should be good to go. It'll take a hot second, but after that, you should be fine. With luck, it shouldn't take too long. Let me know.
So it actually works.
Yeah.
How do we see the actual code?
So for the code, you go, I'm gonna show you guys how, but you go to scripts, and then those are all your scripts. Wait for it to look, click on it again, double click on it. And then those are there. You can just double click on it, and then it'll open. But remember, we're rebuilding whatever's there. I just gave you guys the full workshop so you could, look over them, but
Yes, we don't open
I
that
tried to click on it and something shows up here.
we're working on that same project. The project is fully finished, but we're building the same thing again, so I can show you guys how in the same project. Yeah.
I'm trying to open it, but it doesn't. Like it loads something here and then it closes immediately.
Odd. I would say just restart Unity editor, and then see if it's throwing you any errors. What is that? Check what that is.
This?
Yeah.
No, because I have it right here. If I go to applications, I don't see it. It's called Unity Editors. I don't see it. It's not there.
Just close the Unity hub completely, and then the other one should be called Unity. I don't know, maybe a reset. Yeah, if you just go there, maybe, but I don't know. It shouldn't give you any problems. But you sure you installed the right Unity version?
Yes.
Because there's one for Mac and there's one for Intel. And I think your computer has an M1 chip. Let me know if resetting it fixes it, okay?
We just opened the folder that we downloaded in Unity.
Yes. Just uncompress it first, and then you should be good to go after. All right. Who has the project open already? Okay. Okay. Right. For those, let's start getting a couple things done. So if you have the project open, I assume that you are here. We have a folder called Scene, and we're going to right-click on it, Create, and then we're going to go to Scene somewhere here. Where is Scene? Scene here, right? Then we can name it whatever we want. Let's just call it Workshop. Enter. And then when you double click on it, it's going to take you to an empty scene that doesn't have anything, right? So what are scenes? Scenes, remember how we said in the first workshop? Scenes are your empty space, right? Your 3D empty space. You have this space that you can code whatever you want, right? So within one scene here, we could basically, 3D environment, technically we're using 2D, but it's technically still 3D. We're gonna code our entire game, right? Anybody has a question regarding scene? Again, I'm gonna go extremely slow so we can all catch up, right?
Even like a menu screen is a scene, anything.
Yes, so there's different approaches. I personally like taking an approach that not a lot of people do like. I like making as much as possible in one scene, so that way the game never loads, right? Because if you make everything in one scene, your game would never load, technically. If you have a menu scene, and then your game, which most games do it that way, when you transition from one to another, it'll load that scene, right? So it just depends on your approach. I'm a big believer of a one big script instead of several small ones. So it just depends on your approach. Pros and cons are, if you have a bunch of small scripts and you gotta change one out of something, you can just go ahead and change it, right? If you have one big script, you have to like scroll and find wherever that is. Like I have a project now that I'm working on, and I'm on like 1,600 lines of code. So it's like sometimes I gotta change something. I'm like, all right, here we go, So just again, but I love having just one big script that I can just control everything. And for multiplayer, it's better to have one script, because when you have a multiplayer game, you have to control everything in your scene. If you have several scripts, that just makes your life a lot harder. If you have one big script, all you got to do is just worry about that one, and then that's it. The rest, it doesn't really matter, right? So that's your empty scene. We're going to recreate everything here, okay? So we have a folder here called assets, I believe it's called. Yeah. So this is all of our assets that we're going to use for the game, right? Which is super cool, because reason I came up with this workshop is someone on GitHub put all the assets for Flappy Bird, right? So all the original assets are here. That's how I got them. So if you go here to the GitHub, Flappy Bird assets, you can download them and you have everything from the game, right? That's how I was able to have everything identical to the game, right? So we have our empty space.
You can just make a new scene, because we will open this and have the set.
Yes.
Make a new scene.
So right click on it, create, and create a scene. And then just double click on it so you're on that scene. Anybody has any questions that's still installing, opening, feel free to interrupt me whenever. My point is for all of us to be in the same, speed, right? So it's fine. Okay. Good? Okay. So I'm going to bring any of this. It doesn't matter which one you picked, just so we can start, seeing something on the screen, right? So just click on it and drag and drop it into your empty scene, okay? So we already start, when you go to game view, you can see that it doesn't align, right? So we're going to go to our transform here. Remember, this section, every section of your project is very important, right? So this is your actual files section of the game, of your project. Here's where you're going to have all of your folders, assets, sounds, whatever. This is your scene. So your hierarchy, it's your scene. Whatever you have in your scene, it's in this section here, right? And then here, this is a section that you're going to be able to modify anything that you have inside of your scene. So at this moment, I have clicked base, or whatever that's called, and then I have by default a transform and a sprite renderer, right? So who knows what a transform is, like that specific, just again, wrong answers are totally fine, yes. Yeah, so the point of a transform script, technically, because it is a script, is just tells you the position in the 3D space. It also controls our rotation, and it also controls our scale, right? So the size of whatever we're dealing with, okay? So to make sure that this is center, since our camera is center, we want to set up to 0, 0, and 0, right? So this sets it up in the center of our screen. Actually, kind of the center. Okay, so let's sort of start building the map. I'm gonna go to Google and go to Flappy Bird gameplay, right? And just go based on an image. This one's fine. Okay, so we have the background, and then that at the top, right? No, this. Okay. So we can go to our game view. Yes. Yeah, just click switch. Just click switch and it should open, no problem. It should, hopefully. Anyone else? No? Okay. Let me know if it works when you click switch. Okay, so we are currently in the game view, so let's just modify it through here so it's easier because we want to make sure that whatever we see, it's, you know. I'm going to modify the X scale so it just goes right past my screen. So that's what, 2? And then I'm also, I think Y is depth, so I don't think we got to modify that. Oh, never mind. We do have to modify that. All right, so let's just put that to 2 as well. And then Z is depth, so we don't have to modify that at all, right? Let's just move it down, so our position, we scroll it until we've, you know. Again, I'm going to show you how to do it here, but you could take your own creative approach. If you want to do it differently, it's up to you. If you want to have a different look and you don't want to build Flappy Bird but have the same, you know, code, totally fine, right? So I'm not telling you to do it this way. I'm just, you know, replicating the project, okay? Right, so we have the bottom there already. So let's just come here and copy. So Control C and Control, there you go. And then I just copy and paste that, right? Now here, I already have the position on my screen, right? So if I go to game, I have this duplicated, but that's not exactly what I want, right? So actually, never mind. Disregard what I said, delete that. Let's get here in the bottom and let's get that background, right? Drag and drop it. Again, 0, 0, 0, okay? Now we need to make that background a little bit bigger, right? So let's just go to our scale and put it to, I think it's 2. Actually, no, 2.5. And then our Y should be, let's do 2.5 as well. And then just move it so it, you know, it aligns properly. Now, yes? Oh, yeah. That's a good idea. Now, what problem do we have here?
You can't see the base.
Exactly, right? So if you guys can see here, order and layer. Using this order and layer, we could have an order of wherever they go, right? So if we put this, the base to 1, it should be in front, right? The higher the number, it'll, you know, be in front of whatever you put it, right? So far we have, you know, something decent, right? Now let's drag and drop our player. You guys can pick any color. I think yellow is the OG, so I'm just gonna pick yellow. Drag and drop that, and then there you go. Somebody say anything? Yeah.
I don't know where, but the inspector part isn't coming up. I don't know.
You said it's blinking?
You choose an object, I think.
Oh, so I have to choose an object. So how do I choose the object?
Yeah, so click on it here,
Oh, done.
and then it should appear here.
Okay, so then this I will put the layer. This would be layer 1, and the other one's layer 0. So this.
The higher the layer, it'll be in front of, you know, whatever else is the lower number, right? So let's make our Flappy Bird a little bit bigger. So let's just go to 2, 2, 2. Again, you can get as creative as you want. Do not let me stop you from being creative. If you want to make this 50 and 50, and you want to make, you know, totally fine. Do as, you know, to your heart content, right? I'm just going to do 2 and 2. Now, something very important. I think we were just talking about this. You're super organized. When you have your hierarchy in your scene, make sure to be extremely organized, right? This so far looks terrible, okay? So be extremely organized, because the problem that's gonna happen is you're gonna have so many objects in your scene, you're not gonna have space here, right? I think the most that you wanna be at is halfway through your screen, halfway through here. No more than that, right? Because if not, your hierarchy is gonna get too cluttered and you're not gonna be able to work properly. So if we know, we go to scene view, the background and the base are part of the map, right? So we're gonna click on the base, right click on it. By the way, for those of you who haven't downloaded or have the project open, don't stress it. I'm gonna go over everything again. I could even stick around for a little bit longer. Don't stress it, okay? And ask me as many questions as you guys need, okay? So right click on it and put create empty parent. And let's call the empty parent map. And then I just got this that was outside the background and put it in here, right? So now I just have a folder called map. I know that everything inside of this folder is gonna be related to the map, right? Now the Flappy Bird, this is gonna be our player, right? Now, repeat that again, I'm sorry? Because I have a fan behind me, I don't know, can't really hear.
So I created the empty map, well, the empty parent.
Right.
Called it map.
And then background, throw it in there. And then you're also, throw it inside of map, not inside of, yeah, there you go. And then also you need your player. Okay, so far we have, something decent, right? So, player, we're gonna call it player model for now. It's gonna make more sense as we get, more into the workshop, right? But for now, right click on the player, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna create an empty parent, and we're gonna call the parent player, right? Just trust me. Let's set this to 0, 0, and 0. And, okay. I already see a problem that we're gonna have, but we'll fix that problem once we get there, okay? So, we all have this order, right? We have player inside, and then we have map the way it is, right? So, let's just start adding colliders, right? So let's go to our map and go to, okay, let's change those names, because honestly they're super confusing and we're gonna have a lot of other names, a lot of other objects, and we wanna make sure that we know what we're talking about. So let's just put bottom map. I think that name is even worse. Let's put background, right? Now the bottom section of the map, we wanna add a 2D collider. Make sure it's 2D, right? Okay, yeah, that's fine. If you disable the mesh render, you can see that the collider is this green line that you see here. So you can modify it and put it any size you want, right? But we're not gonna do that, right? We're just gonna add the component box collider and leave it as is, right? Again, make sure it's a 2D collider, because the script that we're gonna do, it's gonna target specifically 2D colliders. If you have any if you just put box collider, regular, 3D, it's not gonna work the script. Again, it's a simple change that you have to do, but still, the same script is not gonna work, okay? So, we're here already. So if we go to our player, I hope this works. We go to our player and we add a 2D box collider as well, right? What happens if I click play? I mean, for those of you who were here in the first workshop, is my player gonna move? Is my player gonna fall? Yes? Okay, raise your hand if you think the player, if I click play right now, if this player is gonna have gravity and fall. Raise your hand if the answer is yes. You were just saying yes. I guess you changed your mind?
Yeah.
You changed your mind? Okay.
I changed my mind when someone else did.
That's not how this works, okay? Legitimate. Who thinks, yes, it's going to change? All right, nobody's going to raise their hand. Why? Okay, all right. Why? Why is it not going to fall? And do not say because nobody else raised their hand.
Well, that's the first reason, but I guess I have to guess beyond that. It's just determining that that object can collide with another object, but maybe it's not given in physics.
Okay, you're close.
I think we could, on last workshop, we were working on a 3D space with 3D objects, and you said like specifically 3D blocks collided 2D, so that's why I think that's not what's going to just get stated.
No, he was a little bit closer. Yes. Exactly. We talked about this. We talked about this in the first workshop. What gives you your object's physics? Your rigid body, right? So if I click play right now, nothing's going to happen. Nothing. Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to move. It's just going to stay there, right? Right? Nothing. But as soon as I add a component called rigid body, and again, make sure that it's 2D rigid body, right? Do not pick 3D. I don't know what happens if you pick, actually, let's find out what happens if you pick 3D. Okay, that's what happens. You can't add a component, right? So, again, I don't even have to say it because you won't be able to, right? Bless you. All right, so let's pick our 2D, and then if I click play now, is it going to have physics? Okay, so if I click play, raise your hand. Do you think it's going to have physics? Do you think it's not going to have physics? Raise your hand if you don't think it's going to have physics. The rest of you are just chilling?
I have just one question.
Yeah.
Where do you do the box collider 2D thing?
So go to add component here. Well, you can't see it here, but add component. Click here, add component, and write box collider. It should be 2D. Yeah, it should be 2. It should. Okay. All right, I'm going to ask one more time. Raise your hand if you think it's going to have gravity and it's going to fall. Okay. Sure. Now raise your hand if you don't think it's going to have gravity. Okay. Fine. All right, so if I click play, I mean, it doesn't have any gravity, but that's just because I was messing around. If we simulate it here, it should have gravity, right? There we go. Cool? So far, so good, right? Okay. So what's our next step? We have a map, technically. We have a player that has gravity. What's our next step? Yeah, but I mean, do we have a working player yet? Just because it follows doesn't mean we have control of the player. So our next step is creating that script for the player so we can actually control what the player does, right? So to add a custom script, by the way, anybody has, yeah? Huh? When you, say it again?
When I joined the place in the, like these two,
Okay.
very model like.
Oh yeah, because you gotta put the layer.
Yeah, so like the one.
Put the layer to 2.
Two. So it doesn't have here.
What? Go click on your player.
The,
Oh, you gotta, yeah, that's right. Click on your player model. No, up, put it 0, 0, 0.
position.
Yeah, 0, 0, 0. This is still not up here? What the hell? Click on your player model again. Oh, put your position to 0, 0, 0.
So just delete the player and then
I would add it again, yeah. But let me just make sure your layer, yeah, I would just add the player again. That's extremely weird. Let me come around.
My code is quite easy to repair when I have like code.
Wow, that's weird. It's not clipping all the way, but it's clipping. Okay, go to your player real quick. The one on top, the parent. Okay, make sure that's 0. And then click on your base. Make sure your base is also 0. Okay, that's 0. The other one, the map. The map. No, that's fine. Just undo that. Yeah, okay. You should be fine now. Click on play and see if it works.
It takes a while, but it's the FIU. So
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. Okay, it works?
Yeah.
yeah,
Awesome.
it works.
Hey. Yeah, so go to add project from disk. And then just find where you extracted the file. Yeah, there you go. Just click on the folder and then click open. And you sure that was an extracted file? Go to downloads here. That's a zip folder. Okay, it's this on top. Okay, right click on it and rename it. Right click on it again. Okay, left click on it. And then right, oh, there you go. No, go. There you go. And just add something at the bottom, at the end. Yeah, just, there you go. Okay, now go to your Unity Hub. Go to add, project from disk. Okay, there you go. Just go to your downloads. Okay, click on it, double click on it. Click on that, and then click open. There you go. Now just click on this yellow thing, and then just click install. You're gonna have to put it up. And then just click install. And then just wait. Somebody else has their hand up? Yeah.
For the bird, what do you say you should do so that the player model will add component?
Yeah, for it to have physics, add component and just write rigid body. So it's the one that's at the bottom, rigid body 2D. There you go. Now you should have physics. Somebody else had their hand up here? All right. Okay. So go to scenes here. Right click on scenes. I'm sorry. Right click here on the empty here. And create. And go to scene. And there you go. Just name it workshop. Anything. Just double click on it. Okay. So now we're basically building, from where we're here, right? So let me. Okay, I know where you are. I'll guide you in a second. Yeah.
Oh, so there was something about a box collider because my thing is just
Going through.
yeah.
No, you're good. Let me click on the bottom.
Yeah. The
right?
base.
Yeah. Let me see the components that you have. You have
Box
collider.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see your transform.
The transfer.
Okay.
Here.
Put that to 0, 0, 0.
The position.
Yeah.
I can't because then it goes through.
Okay. I just need the position. This position to be 0. I don't know if it's Y. It might be Y.
You mean a Z?
It could be. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Now put your background as well to be 0. There you go. And then go to your play. You have,
This one has rigid body. Oh.
yeah, but you don't have your box collider. So just add a box.
That one needs a collider.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, add a collider to it.
And then I don't need.
Put box collider, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and now you should, yeah, it should. Okay,
Yeah.
thank God. All right. It's not too bad.
I think I have the same problem as her. It's not colliding with the flow.
I'll fix it.
Yeah, so I ran it and he just fell right through.
Okay, so you have your collider, and then what else? You have a rigid body as well?
Oh, on this? No, on the player, yes. But
Oh, okay, no. Go up a little bit. So you transform 0. Go to your map. Okay, put that to 0, the Z.
Z to 0?
0, yeah. Okay, there we go. And then go to your player. Put that to 0 as well.
Ooh, what does that matter if you don't mind
because, so remember, you are in a 2D space, and if you are in position 3 and the bottom is in position 0, then you're going to go through it because you're never colliding with it. You get what I'm saying? You have to be in the same zero axis.
Plane, almost.
Exactly, 0 axis for it to collide.
So then let's test it.
I assume the one at the bottom has a collider. If both of them have a collider, it should work.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Yeah. I just don't want to trip over any cables.
I haven't been able to open it at all. I tried installing a different version to see if it would even work.
It should be the silicon version that does the trick for you.
That's what I tried doing. And
Yeah,
this
but those
one-
are 2 different versions.
I
So,
couldn't find one that matched this.
see, because you have, yeah, that's exactly the problem you're having. You're trying to open it with your Intel. Go to settings real quick. No, here, on the settings here. Uninstall it.
And then
Once that uninstalls, close the editor, open it, and it's going to ask you that you don't have it. Open it, and then once you open it, let me know so I can show you how to install the right one.
I see it.
You know, you need my help?
No, I see it.
So make sure to click silicon, okay? Okay, you have in the back, in front. So you're on the empty scene, right? Right? Okay, so you're gonna start, you're gonna go to your, come on. You're gonna go here to folders, and you're gonna go to assets, and we have background, the base at the bottom, and the player, right? So you're gonna get your background here, and drag and drop it. You're gonna get your base, and drag and drop it as well into your scene. And then you're gonna pick whichever player you want, and also drag and drop it. So you gotta have all those 3 things in your map. Once you have them, click on all 3 of them. Like as in like click on one and then press shift and select all 3 of them like this. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, so go to your assets here. Go to assets, and then you're gonna, oh, you put that somewhere else. Okay, never mind. Go to assets here. Okay, why is that there? Okay, no problem. No, did you just delete it? Okay, you undo. Okay, awesome, perfect. Go to assets here. So click on this. Actually, get this and just put it down so you could have more view of your scene. There you go. Click on it, drag and drop it into your scene. There you go. Get to your base, drag and drop it into your scene as well. And then get one of the birds and drag and whichever one's your favorite color, drag and drop in there. There you go. Now, click on the top one. No, sorry, the one that says background. And then here you're gonna put 0, 0, and 0. 0, shift 0, and shift 0. There you go. So now go to your game view. Okay, that's what you have so far. I'm gonna show you how to do something. Actually, that's a great idea. I don't think anybody else knows. Get your base and move it down. So you can move it down by the top one. Sorry, Y. Your Y. And you don't have to do it like that. You could sort of do this. Is something nobody knows. You can click here and see, do this. Yeah. So sort of align it how you want it, and then this has to be in front. So your sorting layer should be 1. Sorting layer should be 1. No, not that one. The one that you were just pressing. There you go. Just change that to 1. There you go. See how I brought it forward? And then your player should be 2. Your player should be 2. And then click on this, and then the one on the right click, sorry. Create empty parent. No, delete, undo. Right click again. Create empty parent. And then name that map. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Click enter. Put your base in there too. Drag and drop that. No, drag and drop that into map. The order where they are makes a big difference. And then you could, no. And then you can name that to player, because that's going to be our player. Yeah, create parent, and then player. Okay, that's basically where we are. No, actually, I lied. Go to your player and add, no, the one at the bottom. Add a box collider 2D. At the bottom, add component here. Box collider. You can type it down. And then add another one, scroll down. Add component, rigid body, and then 2D. There you go. Now if you hit play, it should, oh, it's going to go through, but it's fine. Okay, just click play. Here in the base, I think you played it twice. Yeah, no, you're fine. Here in the base, oh, you just reminded me something very important. Click play again. Here in the base. Now click here and add box collider. 2D. There you go. Now it should work. Now we're on the same page. All right. Actually, you reminded me something two things extremely important. One is, if we click play, you see how my color is super annoying and yours is probably not that color, right? You guys don't have this color, right? So the reason that I have this color set up is I want to make sure that whenever I'm playing, I hate looking at it, right? Because if you do anything in your scene while you're playing, it won't save. We almost just did it. If you change anything while you're playing, it's not going to save. If you change anything while you play, what's going to happen? It's not going to save, right? All right. If you change anything while playing, it's not going to save. So if you decided to have an insanely cool idea and you just started working, you're like, all right, I'm going to add something here, and then, oh, you know what? I just came up with an awesome idea. I just built GTA 6, and then you just started building a bunch of stuff, and for some reason you had, again, you could have a million things here, a bunch. You could build anything, right? As soon as you click play, everything's deleted, right? Do not make that mistake. Trust me. I have lost a lot of stuff making that mistake. So make sure that you put a super annoying color, right? By putting a color, you go to your Unity, I don't even remember what this is. Okay, here it is. You go to your Unity settings and then go to colors, and then this play mode, I don't get it up there. We should do this right now. This play mode tint, just put it to your least favorite color. Make sure it's like a rancid color that you can't unsee, right? You do not want to change anything while you're play mode. Please. You're going to lose a lot, right? You could build anything. You could literally build GTA 6 in play mode and it'll delete everything, right? So please do not make that mistake, okay? So you're going to go to settings. Mac and PC might be slightly different, but you're going to go to settings, Unity settings, and it's colors. So it might be like file and settings, or it might be something along those lines, right? And then the second thing that I noticed some of you guys don't have the same resolution that I have is, you see how it looks? Remember, the resolution is very important because we're building for phones, right? So I actually built, I want you guys to have a project that you could use and showcase to everyone. This is this project. I went ahead and built it for the phones, right? So you could take this project and build it for your phones, right? But very important, you have to make sure that the resolution for the phone works, okay? So I know some of you have the big resolution instead of this resolution here. The way to fix that is you go to your, you see here where there's a resolution number? Click add, and here you're gonna put normal resolution is 1920 by 1080, you're gonna flip those, right? Because it's vertical. So it's gonna be 1080 by 1920. Click add, and then you're good. Let me know if that works for everyone. So you guys have the same view that I have. Because we don't wanna build anything past these lines. It's super pointless, right? Okay. Any questions? I think I saw somebody with their hands up.
It's edit and preferences. It's all where the bottom. How do you remember it? What do you do? Huh? How do you remember it? Edit tab, and then
Play mode 10,
all the way.
Play mode 10, yes.
On default, it's a gray. It changes like a slight.
It does it, yeah, exactly. It's crazy how they don't have that. Make that a super annoying color. Trust me, right? Anybody have any questions? Can I keep going? Okay, so with those two things out of the way, let's build our player script, right? So go to your player, your parent, and then add component, and let's call it player script. We have a player script already, so let's call it player script 2, okay? Make sure to not call it the same thing, okay? Yes? This is on the player parent. Yeah, so you're gonna add component like if you were adding anything else. Like if you're adding a box collider or anything else, but instead we're gonna write our own title, and we're gonna add player script 2, and then you're gonna get prompted with new script, create and add.
Why two?
Because I already have one build. Yeah, so we can't have the same name. Is everyone good? Same page? Any questions? Okay, once you click create and add, it's gonna show here in your component, right? You see it up there? So you're just gonna go to where the name is, here, not here, here, and you're gonna double click on it, right? And it's gonna open our beautiful IDE. You might have the regular IDE, which is, I don't even remember what it's called. That should do the trick. I personally prefer VS Code or Visual Studios in my case. It works a lot more flawlessly, but any IDE works. It's all gonna be the same code. It's anybody having a problem opening the script. We all have the script open, and we are ready to code. Who hasn't, how do I ask this? Who has, I think we asked that in the first workshop, but I'll ask again. Who has never taken any programming classes? Never taken any programming classes? Kind of? Who has taken programming 1? I mean, everyone's hand should be up, right? Okay, who has taken programming 2? Oh, pretty advanced. Okay, who has taken the last programming, which I think is called systems? Systems, yeah. Oh. Oh, so we're pretty good. Okay, not too bad. Okay. Who does not have the IDE opened to start coding? Does not. Okay. You need my help?
Sometimes it gives you an error. It opened, but should open automatically, right?
It should, yeah. But if you're not logged in or something, it could, it could be. Okay, but remember that's the.
Because I never use.
Okay, you're good.
That one.
But that's the code that I gave you. You gotta open the other code. The one that you created that's empty. Should be called 2. You having errors? That's VS Code, I think, right? All right, double click, close, minimize that, or we'll close here, sorry. Double click on it. Yeah, oh no, that's Visual Studios. It might take some time, what?
Tell me the done of this.
Install, oh, okay, never
Done
mind.
of.
No, you're good.
Go away. Go away.
Yeah, let it install. It's probably gonna prompt you to install a couple things. Yeah, just let it install here at the bottom. Okay, let me know if that works, okay? So everyone else has their IDE open. We're ready to code. There's no going back after this. I'm gonna get back to you in a second.
So
Yes.
which one is this supposed to be? Because I'm here. I
No,
thought
no,
it was
no.
This one. Okay. Script 2.
No, you gotta create a new one. So delete that.
Delete that one.
Click, yeah, remove component, remove.
Remove. Okay.
And then add component.
Okay.
And then put player script and then 2.
Oh, okay.
Player script. And then 2 at the end. And it's gonna see
Oh,
new
right,
script.
right.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Manage to open it after downloading.
Awesome. Okay.
What should I do?
Okay, so you're gonna go here to scenes. Go double click on it.
Create?
No. Double click on it. As in like to go inside of it. Left click. No, that's right click. Why is it not going in? What? Okay, that works. Right click here. No, as in like outside.
Oh, outside.
Yeah. Then create. And then scene is somewhere in the middle. Here, up there. There you go. And then name it, I don't know, workshop, whatever you want. Okay, there we go. Just double click on it. Double click on it here. Or click open there. Yeah, whatever works. Now here, this is your empty 3D space. So here you're gonna, actually no, I lied. Go here, asset. Go to where it says asset here. Go inside of the folder that has called asset. And then you're gonna need to drag and drop your background. No, you're in your game view. Go to scene view. There you go. Drag and drop your background. Drag and drop your base, which is this one. And then drag and drop one of your players, whichever color you want. Now select all 3 of them with shift. No, like press 1 and then press shift and all 3 of them. Okay, and then put here 0, 0, and 0 at the top. 0, shift, 0, and then 0 there. There you go. Now go to your, where's your resolution? I don't see your resolution. Go to game real quick, go to game. Okay, go to here and then click on plus and then put 1080 by 1920. Click OK. There we go. So now, I mean, here with your transform, you're gonna adjust and make it bigger, make the background bigger, make the bottom bigger, you know, adjust it to the size that you want. And just so you have to just adjust it, go to your base, add a component here, put box collider, right, box collider, 2D, there you go. And then go to your player. You might want to name, you know, player and things like that. And add another component here. And then name, there you go, 2D. And then add another one called rigid body. Make sure it's 2D as well. There you go. Now, click on your background, or your base, click on your base. Right click on it. There you go, and put create empty parent. There you go, and call it map. There you go. Just drag and drop your background. No, that's your player. Your background and throw it in there too. There you go. So you're good. And then just adjust everything so it looks good, but you're basically where we are. Somebody else had, okay, here we go.
So it's player, add component,
Oh, sorry.
and then scripts.
Yeah, you could take that approach, yeah. You could just write the name of it and then, you know, you're good to go. So like, for example, you could write player, oh, you chose night mode, that's pretty cool. Put player script, player.
Script?
Yeah, no, you remember the script that I have here is the one that I created so you guys can have it completed, but you're building ones from scratch, right? So write player script and then put 2 at the end. and then it's gonna ask you to say new script.
Oh, new script.
Yeah, and then create an ad,
Oh, okay.
and then once that's done, double click here, and it'll open it for you. No, yeah, there you go, the little thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Also, I wanted to ask, how did you get it to can't have this around it? It's just the
Oh, okay, yes. So go to your, wait, you did,
Yeah, I have it as well.
what?
I don't know what this blue thing is.
Yeah, that's,
Is it light?
that's insane. Go to your scene view, and go to your game. Okay. Get this to 0. Oh, there you go. That's what you have. Okay, I got scared for a second. Right, so the reason that it looks like that is because you have everything small. The size of your screen is this size. So you just have to make everything a little bigger.
Oh,
Just-
so I just have to adjust.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Anybody else? Question? Everyone good? Okay. Okay, so we are all in this place, right? So we have the ID open and we're ready to code, right? Okay. So what's the first thing? Let me make this a little bigger. Okay, so what are we trying to accomplish? Remember, I'm trying to get you guys to think like game developers, right? If you could imagine it, visualize it, then you're good, right? You can make it happen somehow. So what is it that we're trying to accomplish? Think of the mission. We're trying to replicate what? Flappy Bird, right? So in this case, we're trying to make the player script. What's the whole point of, what's the features of this player that we're trying to code? Let's just go, simple basis. Right, exactly. So we have the physics already and the player falls, right? So all we have to do is sort of, every time we press something, we sort of give it a little push up and up and up, and then it falls by itself. So we don't have to even worry how it falls, right? So we just have to give it a little push. For those of you who were here in the first workshop, how do we accomplish pressing anything and letting the computer know? Yes. So input.getKey, right? So we're going to use input.getKey, and then how are we going to make it go up a little bit? We need physics for that, right? What are we using for physics? Rigid body. So all we got to do is just modify the rigid body, maybe add a little bit of force, maybe just move it a little bit higher, and we're done with that script, right? So now that we can visualize it, now the coding part is super simple, right? So we need a variable first. We need to reference our rigid body, right? So rigid body, and then let's just call it player rig, right? We said if input, I'm going to explain, okay? So we have the way to get the input for the player is one of these three options, right? Why is it? Okay, so we have an if statement, which, again, we've all taken advanced programming, so most of us, but we should all be familiar with it, okay? We have an if statement, and we're just checking if input.getKey. That's basically, it'll get whatever parameter of key we pass it to, it'll check if it's true or not. And then we can run whatever script we decide to, okay? So we have three different options. We have getKey, which this is why I love Visual Studios, because it just tells you everything there. You don't have to go anywhere else. Returns true when we're holding the key down. GetKey down is true when you press it once, and GetKey up is true when you let go of it, right? So in this case, which one do we want to use? GetKey, okay, raise your hand for GetKey up. Raise your hand for GetKey down. And raise your hand for GetKey. Okay, fair. So we're going to use GetKey down because we don't want it to hold. It's pointless, right? We just want every single tap that we press, we want it to run, right? So we're going to go GetKey down, And then get key down is a function that takes a parameter. That, for example, if we wanted to pass a, I don't know, when you press a letter, like for example, when you press W, you put in quotations W. And then here, run whenever you press W. What the hell? Right? So whatever is inside of this if statement, it's going to run whenever we press W. Okay? We don't want to be W. Well, I mean, maybe you want it to be W, and that's your code right there. But I want it to be space. So if I want it to be space, the space bar, I'm going to put key code dot space. Right? Any questions so far? So we're good so far, right? So key code dot space, it's going to run whatever's in here. Okay? So here is when we're going to modify our rigid body so we can have our physics, okay? Okay, so let's get our player rig, and there's a function called add force, okay? So if we remember, I mean, explanation for this is very straightforward, but rigid body has a lot of different stuff that you could add to it, okay? So it could be torque, it could be relative force, again, it's so many different options, and you're gonna be able to see which one does, you know, certain, right? So in this case, regular force is gonna be just fine. But for example, if you wanted to make a vehicle script or something, you will probably be looking at add torque, right? So again, just depends what you're looking for, but in this case, we're gonna add force, okay? And then this, as our player goes down, we're gonna be adding force, and we're gonna be leveling the player, right? Now, how do we finish this line of code? Who wants to finish this line of code? What can we put in here? Huh? Okay, close. Yes. Zero, comma, 1, comma, 0, and then what else? That's it? That's what you said? Oh, I'm sorry, I could barely hear you. But okay, you're kind of right. Unity has something called vector dot up or dot right. So those two functions are always going to give you up and right. And basically what it is, remember a vector, whether it's 2D or 3D, it consists of 3 floats, or 2 floats in the case of 2D. It's going to always give you your up position or your right position. If you want left, then you vector dot right, you make it negative. If you want down, you vector dot up, you make it negative, right? So in this case, what we have to put in here is basically what you said, but we're going to use vector 2D dot up. Basically what you said, right? But do we have control of that? Question mark. Okay, so let's just put vector 2 dot up, okay? So whenever I press space, this is going to run, okay? So let's just save this real quick. Everyone copied everything, right? Okay. I'm going to go back to Unity real quick, and I'm going to click play. And let's see what happens. So I press space and nothing happens, right? What do you think nothing happens? Huh? Oh, wow. That was a dumb mistake. That's not what I wanted you guys to answer, but that's true. Once you have your variables on your code, the way you access, you have to think of linking your code to your actual game. You have to reference them, okay? So we have the code. Where's my code? Okay, we have the code here, right? And then we are referencing a rigid body. Here, when we go to our player, the rigid body that we're referencing, we don't have. So our rigid body is a rigid body that's inside of our player model. So we just want to get this, drag, and drop it here, And what? Is my rigid body not in here? Do I not have a rigid body here? Oh, okay. Exactly what I told you guys not to do, I made this same mistake. So make sure it's rigid body 2D. Okay? Because if, again, what I said in the beginning, I literally did it myself. If you're dealing with 2D, you have to code for 2D. If you're dealing with 3D, you have to go for 3D. They're not going to work with the same, okay? So now that we save it, we go here, and then now we should be able to reference it, okay? Drag and drop it, and there you go. It'll catch it immediately, okay? You know that you have it because it'll say the name of whatever rigid body you threw in there, okay? It won't just say none or something else, okay? Now, if we click play, it should still not do anything. Now, I'm going to ask again, what do you think is not doing anything? Which part?
So this is the code. I switched it.
Rigid body 2D. And then click on this. Click on the one at the bottom. And then, no. Click on the one on top. Without letting go of the click, the one on the bottom, drag it here.
Like this?
No, but this is not, no, there's something in your code. Go back to your code. Oh, you didn't put a semicolon at the bottom, at the end. No, you're totally good. All right, now save it. And now it should appear here. Once it shows up, just drag and drop that to the section that's going to appear, and you're good. The one at the bottom that has the rigid body. Remember, your player is just an empty game object. The one at the bottom is what actually has that. No, but you clicked on it. You can't click on it.
So I go like this, click on that, and then go like this.
I don't think so. Let's see if that works. No. Like this. There you go. All right, now it should work. Okay. The reason that this doesn't work is because we can't control how high or how fast we're jumping, right? This is vector 2D. That up is just 0, 1, 0. So 1 might not be enough for your player to jump, right? So the way to fix this is we just add another variable. So let's make it public float jump force, we could call it. And then we want to get this up and multiply times jump force, okay? Does everyone understand this? Who does not understand this? Guys, totally fine. I can explain it many, many times. Yes.
So we're just making a new variable, which is going to be the jump force.
Yeah.
And then, so when that vector up, that's going to be multiplied by that.
Exactly. So for example, vector up is 1. 1 up. 1 up is not enough. So let's say that we wanted 100 up. We just put jump force to be 100. Now we have 100 up, right? And that's exactly what happens. 1 is not enough. Okay, so now we just... But who knows why 1 is not enough? Yes. I know you have a different question. Yeah. Okay.
So, first of all, it's not showing the read.
Yeah, it's something in your code. Go to your code.
And it's saying, I'm getting an error here saying all compiler errors have to be
Okay. Go to your code. Public rigid body 2D. No, that's your rigid body is not being read as
that's what I realized. I've never used Visual Studio, so that might be like something's not saving correctly. I don't know.
Yeah, you're missing a library.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, I don't know why, but you're missing a library because your float is fine.
Yeah.
Did you open Visual Studios through Unity?
Yeah, like what?
Did it tell you to install something? Because it told her to install something, so I feel like
It didn't tell me to.
no.
No. Check it out.
I would close it down and reopen it and see if it tells you to install something. Because what's happening is you don't have the libraries, so it's not reading. Yeah. Hey. I think you can click install. It's fine. Because you don't. Those are different. Yeah, you don't need to get. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's good. Click on this real quick. You have box collider, and then you have your rigid body as well. Yeah, you're good. You might want to resize this because it's super small. You could do that, but I prefer if you resize it. So like if you like go here, like for example, you go up here, and then make the background, I don't know, like 2.5, and then make it, no, Z is back. 2.5, I don't know, something like that. Make the scale small. Yeah, so you probably want to resize that too, and then resize the bird, so it's, you know, looks a little bit nicer. But you have to click on each one. Let me know. Anybody else have any questions? Yes.
I know you said something, but I don't, nothing about.
So unassigned means you try to play it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, click on play real quick. No, the one on the top.
Oh.
So see how yours says none? Your rigid body is not assigned, so you have to drag and drop this here. No, don't click. Oh, yeah, you did it right. You did it right. You did it right.
Where?
Keep going to the rigid body. There you go. There you go. You're good. Now if you click play, you should be good. Oh, perfect. You're ahead. You're cheating. Because you already added the value to the float.
Yeah, I got it to work now.
Oh, you got it to work?
Yeah, I just closed it open and
How odd.
like the folder and everything shows.
Okay, it's super weird.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Question? Good? Okay. What do you think 1 is not enough for adding force? Throw any wrong guess. It's totally fine. No? Imagine if whenever you press the accelerator in your car, it'll be 0.1 horsepower. Will the car move? No. So it has to be a constant force or a lot of force at once. How many times is our if statement for input running? No. Once, right? Because we selected get key down. That means that when we press it, it'll run once, and that's it. So if we don't give it enough force, it's not going to move. But if we had the same code, and we just leave it to 1, and we just put get key, when you hold it, eventually it'll move, right? Because it'll be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and it'll eventually get to 100, right? And so that's super important to know how the back end works, so you're able to visualize it first before you even get to your script, right? Does that make sense? Yes, okay. Right, so we added the float, and then if we get this float to 100, for example, now we play, and our player, it doesn't want to move too much, but you know, it's something, right? So maybe you want to do 250, I don't know. There we go, 250. It's a little better, I think, right? So just play with the numbers until you feel good about how it moves. You know, you want to replicate as much as possible, play with the physics, right? So, okay, we have that, right? So let's try to add the little rotation that it has whenever you jump, right? Because whenever you jump, it's not as static like that. It moves, it rotates a little bit, okay? Now, there's probably 100 different approaches that you could take for this, okay? I just came up with this one, and it does kind of the trick, okay? So, the reason that I told you guys to, somebody have a question? Huh? No, I want to hear.
I mean, vector left and then multiply by jump force.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, the way that I came, who else wants to say how we're going to accomplish this? You don't have to say function names. You could just say how you would rotate something, right?
We looked at the code in the first workshop, and I think it's like you just rotate the player model.
I think that's called cheating. I'm totally kidding.
Update the player model a certain amount. And then,
Right.
And you tie it to the key down. So when you key down, it not only moves up, but it rotates.
Right. So the way that I approach game dev is, which I think is a very fun, I think is the reason that I've never gotten tired of doing game dev, is because I personally don't sit down and watch like a 3-hour video of how to do whatever. The way that I approach game dev is I sit down and I visualize how I could accomplish something in real life. So like, for example, right now I have a chair and I want to accomplish this chair rotating here and this rotating here, okay? So the way that I think about it is I'm like, okay, I have a 3D model and I have two things that are interact. This one rotates and this one rotates. So I have two hinges. I can make this the parent, 1, and this the parent, 2. And this parent controls this rotation, and this parent controls this rotation. And I could just make this rotate anywhere from 180 degrees, and this one anywhere from 180 degrees, right? So how do I translate that from that to my game dev, okay? I have a function called, we have a transform, right? Remember a transform in Unity? When we click on anything, we have our transform right here, up there, right? And we have our rotation. So let's say that we wanted to rotate something. Come on. Okay, that's not exactly what I wanted. That's not what I wanted either. Right, so let's say that I want to rotate something, right? So if I modify the Z value, I'm rotating this, right? So I'm already one step closer to what I need to do, right? So all I need to do is modify the Z value whenever I'm pressing space. And then I'm good, right? So see how it's always good to visualize it first and then find an approach that you could take and then sort of mix that to the point that you're going to get to the code, okay? Which I'm going to show you how to get that done in the code, okay? But super important. I think super important for me. I'm not saying this is the way you should do it, but it's always good to visualize it first. Personally, if I can't visualize it, I cannot do it. It's not in me. If I cannot visualize how I'm going to accomplish a feature, whether that's game dev or one of my classes, one of my projects, whatever, I cannot finish it. It's just not in me. So it's a, you know, it has its good and bad side, okay? But it's good to always visualize it because you can come up with your own scripts, okay? So now that we know that we're rotating Z, we go back to our script and then let's try to modify Z. We're going to modify obviously in here, right? Wherever we're pressing space. So we have to have another variable, which is the reason why I told you guys to have a parent and the child inside of the parent, because we're going to modify the child, not necessarily the parent, okay? So let's go to our variables and let's make public. We're going to use a game object variable. So game object, there's different steps for variables. It's like float, double, int, whatever, anything that we're used to, it's the same thing. They just have different names, okay? So rigid body, we're able to access the physics sides of our project. Float is just a regular float that we all know. Float is basically a double, but more efficient, okay? So you could replace the float for a double, and it'll be more precise. You don't really need it, okay? And then game object is generic. Game object takes anything that is inside of your scene is considered a game object, okay? So a rigid body, the only thing that's going to go into this rigid body, it's anything that contains a rigid body. The game object variable, anything that's a game object, anything that it's in here in your scene can be inside of that game object, okay? So always remember that. So we're going to use game object, and we're going to call it player model. Now we're going to get our player model and change the rotation, right? So let's go to player model, copy that, and then I'm going to modify it here, right? So player model dot transform, right? Because remember, this is our transform. So we know how the dot operator works. Dot operator is an accessor that we use to get to wherever function or whatever we got to get to, right? So if I get a game object dot transform, I'm getting the game object dot transform. So in this code, I'm already here, right? Okay, so let's go back to the code. That transform, remember, I'm here in the transform at this point, and then there's a function called set position and rotation. Okay? Now this function is super duper useful. You'll use it for almost everything that you do, right? You could use it for player movement, for doors, for anything. You're going to use this function over and over and over again, okay? In this case, do we want to see what the function says? It takes two parameters, a 3D vector for a position and a quaternion for a rotation. Quaternions are something you don't need to worry about now. They're super, super annoying. So we'll get to that eventually, but they're super annoying, right? Do we have to modify our position? Raise your hand for yes. Raise your hand for no. That math is not mathing. I don't know why. Not everyone raise their hand. Raise your hand if you want to leave already. I'm tired too. No worries. Okay. So we don't need to modify our position, right? Because we're not moving. We went over this in the first workshop, but let me just touch on it again because some people might feel lost if I don't talk about this real quick. Promise it'll take me a few seconds. This video here. Oh wow, you're gonna be like that, seriously? That's what happened last time? Okay, this video here. What's moving, the player or the map? Raise your hand for, if you were here in the first workshop, I do not want to know your opinion. Raise your hand for the player is moving. Raise your hand for the map is moving. Okay, yeah, so in endless games, your map is what moves. Your player doesn't. I'll try to briefly explain, but the reason that's the case is you don't want to have a player moving all the time because eventually you're going to run out to your 9999999 whatever position, and that's going to crash your game. That's the short answer, okay? So you just stay static, move the map, and the map gets deleted behind the player, and basically you play in like the same 4x4 section, okay? So now that we know that the map is the one that moves, I'm going to ask again, do we move the player? No, right? So since we're not moving the player, we're just going to pass the same player position. We're not going to modify that at all. Anybody have any questions? No? Okay. So player model that transform that position. I'm not doing anything in this line of code. I'm just saying, hey, we're modifying the position. Actually, not really. We're just sending back the same position, right? That's why I'm calling the same player model that transform that position. So if the position is 0, 0, 0, I'm transferring 0, 0, 0, right? The reason that I have to is because this function, it takes both parameters. You have to give it both parameters. You can't just give it one. It sucks, but that's just the way it is, okay? Now, we got to pass our rotation now. This is where it gets super interesting, okay? So, who knows what the math equation for lerp is, or means, or has a guess, or wants to say anything regarding lerp? No? So lerp, it's basically two positions, and then it slowly smooth goes from one to the other. That's exactly what we're doing in this case. You could make it snappy, sure, but it's going to look ugly, and it's going to look not polished, right? So we don't want it to go from here to here. We want it to go like this, right? And then how fast or how slow you want to make it, that's up to you. But the reason that we're using lerp is because we want to give it this position, and when we press space, we're going to go up and then slowly down, up and slowly down. And that's how we're going to simulate our physics, okay? So now that we have lerp, we're going to pass first the current rotation that we have. So let's pass player model that transform that rotation. I'm going to go off the screen, so let me just enter this. Okay, there we go. Now, lerp takes two parameters, the position that we have and the position that we're going to be at, right? So I need to make a new variable, and I'm going to call it a transform, right? And I'm going to call it looking up. I'm taking this approach just because it's going to be easier to understand, okay? Trust me. So I'm going to copy looking up, and I'm going to pass looking up that transform that rotation. Okay? Now, okay, let's create another variable. I'm going to explain everything, okay? Float this time, or float, and call it rotation speed, okay? This is basically the same thing as jump force, right? And we're going to get comma rotation speed times time dot delta time. Hopefully that was okay. Let me know when you copy everything so I can explain it. I promise it is not as confusing as it looks. Is it weird to understand this? Raise your hand if it is. Guys, I prefer honesty. Totally fine. So.
Oh no, when you actually explained this, I think in the first one.
Yeah, but I know some people weren't here. So we're lerping, going from one position to another, right? And then we're sending the position that we currently are, the rotation. So let's say we're rotating 0, 0, 0, and then we're sending that to a looking up position. So let's say that our looking up position, we're going to set it up now. It's like this, right? Let's say it's inclined this way, okay? So we're going to get this and set it up to this position. How fast? Our rotation speed, which is a float, times time dot delta time. Why are we using time dot delta time? Time dot delta time is a unity function that counts the seconds that your game is running, right? So that's the only way we can control seconds that happen. Why is that important? That's important when you're trying to accomplish something that works smooth, right? If you're trying to do something instant, it doesn't really matter. But when you're trying to do something smooth, you have to have the seconds, because for it to go from here to here, maybe it'll take you 2 seconds, for example. You have to count the seconds for it to be that way, okay? So this line of code is just getting player model, the rotation, passing it to the rotation of looking up, and the speed of rotation speed, which is a float that could be 1, could be 10, could be 50, could be whatever, depending how fast or slow we want it. And then we're multiplying that times the amount of seconds so it's consistent across every device that we use, okay? So, assuming that works, which I hope so, we're going to minimize. Everyone's done copying? Okay, we're going to minimize Unity script, and then we're going to go back to Unity, okay? We're going to just check real quick. We should have a couple different parameters here that are set as none, okay? So, player model, we're going to drag and drop to our player model, okay? I'm going to get this. I'm going to copy and paste it. I'm going to rename it to looking up, right? Now, I'm going to delete the box collider. I'm going to delete the rigid body in the 3 little things here. Click on it and remove, because I don't need any of this, right? And then now, I'm going to go to my scene. And let's say that I want my, does it rotate up or down? Up, right? So let's say that I'm rotating it up. I want it to be a little bit like that, okay? So let's just say 40, right? So I just set that to 40. I set 40 on the one that says looking up, okay? Now, once I have everything set up, I don't need the sprite renderer. I could just delete this, right? Right? Yes. So I'm going to click on player. I'm going to get the looking up, drag and drop it. And then the rotation, we might have to modify. I don't know how fast or how slow it is, so let's just put 50. Actually, just put 100 for now. And if we click play, it should rotate some. Right, so it's rotating extremely slow, and I don't even know what the hell it's doing. Right? So, couple things that we gotta fix. But who's here so far? Yeah, it's right. Okay.
So I copied the player model, I pasted it, I changed the name.
By the way, we might need to. I think we have this classroom till 6. Let me just verify that somebody's outside. Hi. This is a workshop till 6. What happened?
Oh,
You guys?
okay, yeah, because we have the room at 6. I was just wondering.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Give us a second. We'll wrap up. Awesome. The hell? Okay, that sucks. All right. We have to. All right. Unfortunately, we got to wrap up. You know, it sucks. They have the room booked. We usually get the room booked after, but it is what it is. I mean, we've been here for 2 hours. Stick around after. If you need me, I'll probably see if any of the other classrooms are empty. I'm super down to help you guys out if whoever needs me. I'm going to stick around for a lot longer, so it's totally fine, okay? All right, yeah, let's wrap up.